Hi everyone in English 1301, it's Dr. E and I'm here with your week 10 instructional video. I know it might be kind of hard to take me seriously right now. I'm having a hard time taking myself seriously, but this is the last week of costumes, so hope y'all have a good spooky week this week. So I'm just going to jump right into where to go and what to do for our week 10. So if I jump to the content area, we have some different kinds of assignments this week. So I really encourage you to make sure that you're sitting and engaging with the instructions here and letting me know if you have any questions. So you do have a chapter to read in our course text. It's called Evaluating Sources. And it's really important just in terms of thinking about, you know, in academia, we write a lot of research papers. We think about using sources to support our ideas. To show that we're not just kind of sharing our opinions or our own ideas, we're actually supporting those ideas, right? But one step that we really need to take with that is thinking about the sources, making sure that we are, you know, researching ethically, we're using sources ethically, and we have to evaluate our sources to ensure that they are reliable, right? So that's what this chapter is really going to examine. And we're going to take some of those ideas and then apply them to Jennifer Lee's TED Talk, which is The Hunt for General Tso. It's a great video. Students always love it. It's so interesting. She's entertaining. So make sure that you are, you know, watching this video, watching The Hunt for General Tso with Jennifer Lee. You have what is going to be, you know, do as a writing reflection. I want you to note that it's based on our second food journal. So that food journal is the one where you received the feedback last week. You've made some updates and edits and added to that. That's the third for food journal, right? So the one that you have the feedback from me is the second food journal. So I want you to go back to that feedback. I want you to go back to that assignment and reflect on that. And you'll have an actual worksheet that kind of guides your reflection and guides your feedback. And then you have an additional worksheet that is going to be due on Thursday, which is based on Jennifer Lee. Let me walk through this. I think I've just been confusing without, you know, intending to. So you're watching what will appear here, nothing necessarily to review, but you do have all of these assignments. So what I want to start with is the Evaluating Sources worksheet. This is, again, it's going to be based on Jennifer Lee's TED Talk, but we're really thinking about the ideas that Lunsford shares in her chapter on evaluating sources. So you're going to complete the worksheet. You know, and I put here there are different pieces of information required. Take the time to answer each thoroughly. Make sure you're double checking your grammar, your spelling, y'all. I know it's a writing class, right? So if you open up this document, eventually it will open. Sisters. Okay, let me pause and get this document open. All right, y'all, I got it open, but I'm noticing that I uploaded the wrong one. It's actually for Ron Finley's TED Talk, so I'm going to update that worksheet when I don't have nails on that I can't type with. People with nails this long and wigs are the real heroes. I don't know how people do it, but the same ideas apply, right? So we're going to think about Jennifer Lee's TED Talk, and so what's the title? The title often has some sort of relevance on the overall idea, right? So you type the title here. Y'all, anytime you type a title of some sort, in MLA, it needs to follow some sort of documentation process. So with the title of a TED Talk, you use quotation marks, right? With the title of a book, you use italics. It needs to stand off the page. It needs to be recognizable by anybody looking at it as something that is standing out differently, right? So the quotation marks help with that, or the italics. Please use quotation marks. Okay, so that's the title, right? Who is the author, organization, speaker, group? So for this, focus on Jennifer Lee, right? You can also think about TED as an organization because TED hosts all these different functions and brings in all these different experts, but we really want to focus on Jennifer Lee. So what is the author's, speaker's stance in the piece? How do you know, right? So this is really what breaks down into the idea of a thesis. What is Lee arguing here, right? And how do you know that, right? So is it part of the title? Is it something that she kind of keeps hitting on and keeps kind of emphasizing throughout? So make sure that you are identifying that thesis essentially. We know the intended audience, right? We have a TED audience, but what might they already know or think about the topic, right? So what do you know and think about the topic? So do they have a wealth of knowledge about this topic, or is this likely something that is new because Jennifer Aitley is presenting new ideas, new research to us, right? What is the main point in Jennifer Aitley's talk? What types of support are used? Is it effective or not? So this becomes, is this person supporting their own ideas, and how, right? So if we're thinking about other talks we've seen, or think about Choi's article, Choi uses a ton of different sources to support the ideas that she's putting forth in her article on American food culture. So what type of support is Lee using? How would you evaluate the overall credibility of the piece? What reasons do you have for your assessment? So again, this goes back to Lunsford's chapter on how to evaluate sources and what questions to consider. Does this source confirm what you already believe or expose you to new ideas and perspectives? And is this type of source what you would use in an academic essay? Why or why not? So you could say, yes, I would use this in an academic essay in Dr. E's class, right? Because I am a professor who I give you sources, right? But I also am looking at some that seem non-traditional. So you wouldn't necessarily write a full-on history paper using a TED Talk, you know, unless that's something that your professor has shared. So you can think about other classes as well as our own. So again, this is really just using the ideas that Lunsford puts forth in her chapter on evaluating sources. You can type here and the document will expand as you type, okay? And then you'll just go and upload your assignment. So make sure that you're saving it with a new title, you're not submitting a blank document, and all that good stuff. So we want to make sure that we're practicing good kind of document organization. I need to get out of here. Hold on one sec. Okay, so if you go back to week 10, so you'll complete that evaluation of Jennifer Aitley's TED Talk, and then I want you to focus your time on this writing reflection, which is going back to your second food journal, okay? There is a reminder here of how to view the feedback, right? So if you click on this, it just goes step by step, how to find your feedback, how to make sure you're looking at it, how to make sure that you have the proper icons selected. So again, make sure that you're following that. So after reviewing the feedback, complete this document. And this is a document, again, that offers direction. It offers you specific things that you want to identify and think about based on your writing. The response area will expand with you, but make sure you're, just like in your worksheet, utilize full sentences. Make sure that you are really considering that feedback, because again, part of improving our writing is taking some time to reflect and review. Okay, so if you did not submit the second food journal, you have this kind of alternative. So it can't be, well, I didn't submit the assignment, so I can't really submit anything this week. Sorry, you have something that you want to complete as well, especially since, you know, we've completed the third week, or I'm sorry, the third food journal. You've had time to complete that assignment. You just didn't submit it with the original to get that feedback. So think about what I'm asking you here. All right, so if we go back to week 10, then the last thing, so that's going to be due on Sunday, and the worksheet is due on Thursday, but as per usual, we're looking at the whole week as though everything's essentially due on Sunday, and then you have the grace period, right? For any uploaded assignments, you have the 48-hour grace period. You do have a quiz this week, so it will be asking who I am, and I am, if you didn't know, Winifred Sanderson from Hocus Pocus, right? Additionally, the random words for this week are candy corn. All right, so I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please let me know if you have any questions. I know this week is a little bit different than most, so reach out, post in that Q&A discussion board, because if you have questions, other folks are going to have those questions as well. And take care.